Hello everyone, I'm Kathy Leone in for Nancy O'Neill this week. Welcome to Suncoast FYI. Joining me today are Chuck Stevens with the Van Wezel, Marcus Braz and Dr. Tonya Stevenson with Health South, and Jacqueline Rogers and Roberto Borgatti from the Classical Music Celebration. We also have an extended interview with actor Tony Danza, who was here on the Suncoast last week, performing at the Sarasota Opera House, all next on Suncoast FYI. The Van Wezel is a Suncoast staple, and it's a thrill to catch any of their great shows. Chuck Stevens, the Van Wezel Director of Marketing, joins us today to talk about some of the upcoming shows and concerts that you can't miss.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for joining us today. So you guys recently, I want to talk about this first, the Van Wezel Foundation's annual gala. Tell us about it. It seemed like it was a huge success.
Simply the most successful one they have ever had, both financially and attendance-wise. Barry Manilow, who's never played houses this small, we only have 1,740 seats, came in and brought his entire Las Vegas act, 8 trucks of equipment for this thing, blew the entire audience away. It was so good. And the fundraising that came off of that was just incredible for the education plans at the Van Wezel. So it's a terrific evening. You should not have missed it.
I know. Well, congratulations to you guys on that, that's for sure. Now, we always talk about what's coming up because you guys always do such a great job of bringing acts in. What's coming up for the next season? Oh,
the next season is probably the most powerful season that has been booked there. We have, our Broadway season includes 3 weeks. We've never done more than 1 week of a Broadway show before. 3 weeks of The Lion King, making its premiere here in Sarasota.
Amazing.
Then add it, one of my favorite musicals from New York lately, On Your Feet, the Gloria and Emilio Estefan musical.
Yeah.
As I said earlier, I cannot dance worth a lick, but I was on my feet the entire time, badly dancing, but having so much fun doing it. And we have a number of other shows that are, Rent is coming back, and King and I is coming back, Sound of Music. It's a terrific season, and we have some great concerts. We got the Boston Pops coming back again this year, the Israeli Philharmonic with Leonard's, Zubin Mehta on his final concert tour.
Oh, wow.
And we have great dance as well. Yeah.
It sounds like a great upcoming season. I know folks always wait to the announcement that they can get tickets. When can they start thinking about these shows and actually getting their hands on them? I'm sure they're going to go fast.
They should start thinking now because we're in subscriptions on all of them, and our subscriptions are running dramatically ahead of the last 3 years. We're selling a lot, I think, probably because of The Lion King is the engine behind it all. So the best way to guarantee the best seats is get subscriptions. Otherwise, we'll be announcing our full season with all our single one nights of comics and singers, and Frankie Valli, I believe, is coming back. All that is coming. That'll be announced at the end of August for sales to go on sale after Labor Day. Okay, so that's the plan.
But how, this is just such a great eclectic, you always put in just a great eclectic group of shows. What goes into selecting
It's literally a nightmare that I'm glad I'm not totally involved in, except from the marketing point of view. Right now, our executive director, Mary Benzel, has finished booking this season, although she's still adding shows for this year. She's booking next season, she's still adding shows. She's booking 18-19, 19-20, and 20-21. If you go in her office, there's shows listed on all of those. And she then goes to New York to see all the Broadway shows. She goes up in a week to see about 12 shows while she's there to be able to predict whether they'll work for Sarasota when they go out on the road. So it's a jigsaw puzzle that would have me pulling out my hair. I'm proud that it's her job. I just get asked, can you sell the darn thing?
Well, you should have no problem, so I know that we talk about the shows and whatnot, but a lot of folks have been worried as of late because of the Bay Plan and what the plans are for the Van Wezel. So what have you guys heard of? Where are we at with that?
Well, I think the first consideration that everyone needs to remember is that the land and the building are both city-owned. I, in point of fact, for the first time in my life, I'm a government employee. I work for the city. And any decision about what happens with the Van Wezel will be determined by the city commissioners and the town managers. There are a lot of plans out there at this point. What will happen is there will be a new performance arts center or hall. We're trying to do it with the Sarasota Orchestra at the same time and make a big center. But the Van Wezel is going to be incorporated into it some way. The thing for everybody to remember is it will not be torn down tomorrow. It will not be torn down next week. While they're building that, we need to keep operating. We need to keep bringing product in and selling tickets and keeping our audiences engaged. The Van Wezel will live through all that process, and then decisions were made on repurposing it is probably the best word to use on it.
Okay, and then we also have to worry about it. That's down the road, but right around the corner seems to be some construction around there, namely roundabouts.
Oh, thank you, Florida State Department of Transportation. Yes, they're building roundabouts on 10th. They're putting another one in at Avenue of the Arts and another one in Fruitville. I'm thinking about retiring and leaving town.
But folks will still be able to get
They
to you
still
guys,
will be,
yeah.
and our website will always have information about it, and they can always call our information lines for more information. The best thing I think to prepare for, and most of our audience is good at this, is leave an extra 15 minutes early to get there.
Yeah.
That's the difference. So it's not going to be that big a deal.
Okay, so a lot to think about there, but again, no problem getting there. And right now,
No.
we're talking about what's going on still this season, Friday Fest.
Well, the Friday Fest, our first one is, because I can never remember the dates, we have June 22nd is Jaw Movement, which is one of the favorites. It always sells out. Last year, I think we had 4,500 people.
Wow.
Free to the public. Bring your seats. There's food trucks there to serve you. It's a great evening.
It is.
Seeing the Bay, that's the way you want to see a performance
Exactly.
with the Bay.
Exactly. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us
Thank you very
today.
much. Thank you.
All right. Well, next on Suncoast FYI, we take a look at Stroke Awareness Month and what you can do to live a healthy life. Welcome back, everyone. May is Stroke Awareness Month. We are joined now by Marcus Braz, CEO of Health South Rehabilitation Hospital of Sarasota, and Doctor of Neurology, Tonya Stevenson. They're here today to talk about Stroke Awareness Month. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us, Kathy.
Oh, of course. We should probably start off by asking, what is a stroke for those who don't know out there?
A stroke, I like the term brain attack. When similar to a heart attack, it's something that comes on suddenly and something that's very serious. About 85% of our strokes are from a blockage to a blood vessel, either clot travels to the brain itself or it forms in the blood vessel wall itself. The brain downstream doesn't get blood flow, and so it doesn't work. And if there's damage, there's a stroke. About 15% a blood vessel can burst or open up, and that's a hemorrhage. That makes up the other 15%. Again, it's sudden onset usually.
So sudden, then what are some of the signs that we're talking about? What are some of the symptoms or signs that you're actually having one?
There is an acronym called FAST that is very helpful. The F for face, you can see a droopy face. Okay. The arm, sometimes you can see an arm sort of drift down. Speech can be affected, and then the T could stand for time because we want people to go to the hospital. Some people will have sudden onset of dizziness or confusion, but usually it's something one side of the body or the other.
Okay. All right. So what can we do to sort of prevent this then from happening? What's prevention?
As you can imagine, there's some risk factors that we can't control. Our genetics, our age, but things like high blood pressure is one of the most important things. If you're smoking, try to stop. Stopping smoking after about 5 years can lower your risk of having a stroke as well as a heart attack.
Really?
Things like high cholesterol, diabetes, these are all risk factors. Some people have an abnormal heart rhythm, so just following up with the primary care doctor can also help to catch some of these before they become an issue.
So when they do become an issue, then what is, say, treatment like at Health South?
Okay.
Well, the treatment at Health South for strokes is very specialized and very individualized. Mm-hmm. It's specialized because we have specialty designation to treat patients with stroke. We're accredited by the Joint Commission accreditation with disease-specific accreditation to treat patients who've been affected by stroke. Additionally, we have specially trained nurses, physical therapists, occupational therapists, speech-language pathologists. And what's unique about our hospital is that they work in teams. So we have specialty teams that are strictly focused on treating stroke patients in our environment. The therapy is intense. They get 15 hours of therapy per week, and it's very focused on the individual functional needs of the patient.
So, so this is once someone has suffered a stroke or whatnot, you guys also work to sort of on a mission of creating, healthier lives, right, at your hospital. So how do you do that?
Well, we're very focused on community outreach. We partner with all the community hospitals. We work with the hospitals for support groups, stroke support groups in Sarasota, in Venice, in Manatee. We also do community outreach lectures with physicians, with clinical staff to help focus the education, as Dr. Stevenson mentioned, on prevention. How can we, this is a preventable occurrence in someone's life. So we really focus on medication management, high blood pressure medication management, pharmacy, and healthy eating and exercise, those types of things.
So and knowledge is so important, as we've been talked to in all these questions of knowing the signs, knowing where to turn to, and then again bringing it together with the mission of trying to create healthier lives so it doesn't happen in the first place. So this is just a wonderful way to get all this information out, and Stroke Awareness Month is again just something that you should take these tips and always keep them with you, because again it is preventable. So thank you guys so much for joining us today.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
And if I could just mention one other thing. May is Stroke Awareness Month, and we're celebrating that by educating at our hospital May 31st. We have a lecture for women on stroke. Dr. Kinga Porter, please, the public is welcome to join us so that we can provide the education that's needed to our community.
Definitely. We'll get that information out there. Thank you guys so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, the Classical Music Celebration is this weekend. We have a preview right after this break. Welcome back to Suncoast FYI. This weekend is the Classical Music Celebration, and we are now joined by spokesperson Jacqueline Rogers and baritone player Roberto Borgatti to tell us more about it. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
So what is the Classic Music Festival?
It's a celebration of classical music, and quite honestly, it's a feast for the senses, Kathy. We're bringing together world-renowned classical musicians and pairing it with a beautiful light show and a beautiful aerialist, kind of like Cirque du Soleil.
Wow. So the artists then. Tell us about the artist first, and we'll get to the aerialist in a second. Excuse me, I'm very excited about this. But.
So are we. Well, the headliner is a duo called Charisma, and they're classical guitarists. They're currently on tour with Andrea Bocelli, and that's actually how our producers found them. They were in Guatemala producing the show for Bocelli, and they saw Charisma and were like amazed by it. And Javier Marino and Jim Flynn, who are the producers of the show, they decided to bring them here because Charisma would love to enter the U.S. They're known all over the world and all over Europe. And I think they were trying to expose not only Sarasota, but also get Charisma to come over here to the U.S. So that's kind of what it is. And Roberto Borgatti, who is here with us, is one of the performers. He's a baritone and an opera singer. So you want to say something about the Classic Music Fest?
Well, I absolutely do. You know, probably a lot of people out in the audience know me as being a golf instructor over at the Longboat Key Club and Resort. And yeah, I'm lucky that they're one of the many sponsors involved in this. And for tonight's show, I think this is going to be really historic for Sarasota, because this show is putting together so many art forms all in one show. I think the producers that I call the 3 J's, Jim, Janet, Javier, which, as you know, in Spanish is spelled with a J, and now Jackie. Now we're going up to quadruple here. The R's are a real minority. They've put together a show that I think is going to meet and connect with everyone.
It sounds like it's amazing.
You know, and beyond Mother's Day, I mean, here we are. I know my mother's excited about tonight.
Well, anytime she can see her son perform on the stage at the Sarasota Opera House is a good thing.
I was going to say, what a great venue for all this as well, with the international talent. Then you said light show as well. But talk to me about the aerialist. How did this come into play? Because it's very, it sounds like very Cirque du Soleil or something like
Olga
that.
Coronas, she's another world-renowned aerialist. And The producers have produced entertainment, all over the world, and just bringing that extra additional element to the table, I think, was something that was exciting, because you have a full orchestra. We have the Royal Symphony Orchestra that is conducted by Raphael Ponti, and he is, again, well known in this area, not only in Florida, but all over the country.
Right.
And so I think having all of that is going to be, just as I said, a feast for the senses. You've got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, you do. It's amazing. So are there still tickets available?
Yes.
How would you get them?
So you can go to sarasotaopera.org and find some tickets. And ticket prices range from $19 to $79. There are a few tickets left for the VIP, where you can meet the performers and have a little party after.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. An added element to all that's going on. Do you think it's going to be turnout? It is Mother's Day weekend, so turnout, what are you expecting?
I think the turnout's going to be great. Ticket sales have been fantastic. And I think, we've all taken Mom out for dinner, but why not take Mom for an experience that she'll remember and truly enjoy?
It's the perfect occasion.
It really
to bring the family. I mean, this is going to be an electrifying show. I mean, I'm, personally, to be surrounded by such a group of world-renowned performers here in Sarasota in one show is quite extraordinary. So I say go out and come and see us tonight and tomorrow.
And this is just, you think it's just the beginning? Are we going to see more of this? I mean, it sounds like it's just, this is the first.
It is. This is the first. And I
future?
think the vision, Sarasota is perfect for this. As you know, we are so submerged in the arts, and we have a wonderful arts program. And I think in bringing something like the classical music celebration to Sarasota, I think the people that have responded with tickets will certainly embrace it and hope that there's more coming.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they are. Yes. Thank you guys so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, actor Tony Danza recently visited the Suncoast, and SNN sat down with him for an interview. You will not want to miss it, and that's next on FYI. Welcome back to Suncoast FYI. Last week, SNN's Grant Boxleitner sat down with actor Tony Danza to talk about Danza's Sarasota Opera House performance. That was last Friday, but Mr. Danza also talked a lot about his career and what it's like taking a step out from in front of the camera and onto the stage. Take a look.
If my friends could see me now.
Tony Danza still gets plenty of joy out of entertaining crowds with his music and dance.
What I've learned over the years, I've been doing this for over 20 years now. It's amazing how quickly time goes, and sometimes you're singing something as beautiful as this, and other times you're singing a ballad as the roller coaster goes by, But you have to learn your craft, and you do. And it's one of the things you learn after a while is that you really can't go up there to succeed. You can't go up there to, have somebody else see you for another job, whatever. You really have to go up there to enjoy the gift of this. Because everybody else would love to be able to do this, but you're the one doing it. And I find that the more I let all that other stuff go and just have a good time, the more the audience enjoys it and we make that connection.
And Danza, also known for his star roles on TV hits Taxi and Who's the Boss, shares plenty of stories along the way.
How little we understand what touches off that tingle.
The words are so universally emotionally hooking, And like, for instance, there's a song in the show by Sammy Kahn, and I think, who would he write it with? I think Chapman. But anyway, the song, the lyric goes, Please Be Kind is the name of the song. But he says, this is my first affair, so please be kind. Handle my heart with care, please be kind. And here's the line. This is also grand, my dreams are on parade. And I think to myself, dreams on parade, I know what that feels like, when you're so excited and hopeful about something, and like love, for instance. And so that kind of sentiment is universal. And I think, that music is just something that we as Americans should be very proud of.
Are there still some preparations you make before the show or things you like to do?
Yeah, I mean, I got to make sure I got my tux all ready, and I have my tap shoes have to be a certain way, and I have a couple of little props. I have I got the ukulele all the time, but No, I think you have to be disciplined when you do this kind of a show. You know, I don't have, to be honest, I don't have the pipes of, you know, but I can sing. Right. But in order, you have to have it all. So you have to take care of yourself. You know, it's a discipline. It's like anything else. To do the cabaret, the live act, you're up there by yourself, except for the 4 guys. You know, you do have your band with you, but you have to make this thing happen. And it's both a challenge and a joy, as you said.
It's like hosting, you know, the show.
It's like being, I'm not kidding. I go back to this all the time. I get a review in the Times one time where the guy said, it's like he's in his living room singing to his relatives. You know, he's little, and which it conjures up a thought of, you know, in Brooklyn, me in the living room singing a song to my relatives.
Maybe I win, maybe I lose, maybe I'm in for singing the blues.
This is Lucy. This is a ukulele, and she, I know I named the ukulele. It's really, you want to feel how light it is? Feel how light that baby is. Well, it's not, it's a toy. It's like a toy, right? I recommend people. I encourage people to get this. It's very easy. It's only 4 strings. You know, and you can do all sorts of stuff. You can do Hawaiian. You know what I mean? You can do that, or you can do 5 for 2, eyes are blue. You know, you can do that, right? But you could also do the American Songbook. So you go, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Oh, maybe I'm weak and maybe I'm strong, but nevertheless, I'm in love with you.
Great interview, Grant. Now, you can find the full interview on SNNTV.com and find what's next for the Sarasota Opera House at sarasotaopera.org. Now, the weekend is almost here, and if you're looking for something to do, we have a few suggestions we'll show you when we come back. Coming up this weekend on the Suncoast, the Sarasota Bradenton Rose Society presents their annual Rose Festival Saturday. The festival features award-winning roses on display, rose bushes for sale, and experts available for Q&A sessions. The event is at 5500 South Tavamy Trail, and admission and parking are free. And don't forget about Mom this Sunday, as Selby Botanical Gardens is hosting a Mother's Day brunch along with admission to the gardens for the day. The brunch runs from 10:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. If you'd like to promote your community event on Suncoast FYI, we would love to hear from you. Just call us at 941-361-4333. And to view previous episodes, go to SNNTV.com under Programming. And thanks for watching Suncoast FYI.